Sunshine on my Twitter makes me happy. That was by special request. Our guest requested that I sing to open the show. I'm here to please.
And you sang.
I'm here to give.
You sang for your supper.
I did. Welcome to This Week in Twitter, the live Twitter weekly discussion show, I guess you would say. The View about Twitter, as I've heard it described.
That's interesting.
Who
said that?
That was Rob Brown, good friend of Mahalo.
Rob Brown,
told me, he's like, it's like The View, but with a bunch of dudes, and they're talking about Web 2.0.
Sadly enough, I think he got it
We got a
right.
lady today.
We have a lady today. We had a lady on the first.
You
I think we've
always
had a
have
lady every
ladies.
week.
We
yeah.
have.
We're very,
And you should do that. It's not, like
We
John
are.
Dvorak with the cranky old geeks.
yes.
Do you know he has a rule that women cannot be on the show?
Really? That is.
I swear.
He has an
Hand to
actual
God.
rule,
Sorry.
like no
Hand
ladies.
to God, no women.
Why? What would be the point of that rule?
Not cranky enough? Or?
Maybe we're not cranky enough.
I think you could probably find
point,
a few
good
candidates. I've known a few. That is bizarre. I purposefully did think you want a diverse group. You don't
Yeah,
want it
me
to be
too.
all, and especially because Twitter is so diverse. It's not like we're talking about something that there would only be like dudes, like some of the sort of role-playing games.
Yeah,
or
but
whatever.
what
It's
fun
very
would it
dude-heavy.
be? I mean, even in the role-playing games and in the gaming world.
Well, there are a
having
lot of women who play
in
those
there.
games,
I
yeah.
mean, just
There
makes it all
there
that
are
much
now.
fun.
It didn't always just
There
be that
are.
way.
Right.
Yeah, I
like
remember.
the D&D show, if we were doing it in the late 80s, would have been very dude.
Yeah, actually, Ashley Esqueda, who hosts This Week in Android, huge gamer, loves World of Warcraft.
Well, now it's ubiquitous.
Yeah.
I mean, now a lot
Well,
of
and you've got girlgamer.com. Rachel Lara is just like the most amazing gamer that I've ever met. Have you ever met her?
I have not met her. no.
You want someone here for gaming, she rocks it.
We should do a gaming episode. That'd be fun.
It'd be fun.
I was thinking next week, or not next. I don't want to make any promises. I haven't run it by them yet. But we were talking about having my grandparents on the show.
we should definitely do that.
I think that's definitely.
Do they
have to run that by?
They don't, but I would like to teach them how because they watch the show.
Why don't you have
Because
the
they
guy
love
from
me.
My Dad Says?
Yeah, blank. You can say
Oh, that's right. No,
You
FCC.
can say it.
Shit, My Dad Says.
Shit, my dad
Love
says. You
that
can say
tweet
that.
stream.
Yeah, that guy's that's hilarious. Although, is it? Has anybody ever actually confirmed that it's real?
No, I can't believe that somebody says the F word every time they talk.
There's a part of me, because the guy was a comedy writer, and there's a
Right,
part of me that
right.
feels like this is all an elaborate, he made up this
a
character.
big ruse, yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes it just seems a little too writerly to
Yeah,
have
but
just come out
didn't
of
you
this old
have,
man's
or
mouth.
didn't you know some relative that just would have sounded like that?
Well, everyone does.
yeah.
That's why everyone
Totally.
loves it.
Well, that's
so.
why I want my
Yeah.
grandparents on the show, nonstop. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's so written. It just feels a little too
Yeah.
perfect to have just come out of that person's
Well,
mouth.
and he only generates one every 3 days, so it's got to be good, right?
Right, so he's like
got time to hone
thinking
it.
about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, he's thinking about
So I
it.
saw a cartoon, or I can't remember where I saw it. So I saw somebody tweeting as Jesus and said, "You should hear the shit my dad says."
Yes, yes. I think it's Jesus _Christ.
Yeah,
or
something like that, yeah.
He's funny. All right, well, there you go. Yeah, so there's so much we want to discuss. I mean, we actually, I will do the sort of Marsha Collier intro. Welcome our special guest for the day, because we kind of missed that and all the excitement to talk about my grandparents. Our guest today is an author, broadcaster, journalist, educator, entrepreneur, and customer service ninja. She's been called one of the world's leading experts on eBay. According to Amazon.com, she has 15 books in print about eBay.
That's in English.
That's just in English.
That's just
What
in
other
English.
languages are you writing eBay books in?
Well, they're translated to Chinese, Italian, German, French, Spanish, special editions in the UK, Australia, and Canada.
Not Tagalog? Come on, lady.
Yeah, hey, look.
Get right out of here.
The Chinese one is real. I should have brought it. It's really amazing to look at.
Do they allow eBay in China? I would think
There's
they'd have.
eBay, I guess, and the whole book's in Chinese except the screenshots and my name and the occasional word.
Right.
So it's amusing to look at.
That's interesting. Wow. So yeah, 15 English language. Although to be fair, after the first 13, you can probably start.
Yeah,
knocking
you know,
them
I
out.
actually quit counting.
It's another one. Including the first book, eBay for Dummies, which became the first unofficial eBay manual when it was released back in 1999. She's the host of KTRB Computer and Technology Radio, has been a guest on The View, which this show has been often compared to, The Today Show, and her own PBS special, Making Your Fortune Online. And your expertise isn't limited to eBay, featured speaker at the 140 Character Conference in London. So please join me in welcoming Marsha Collier to the show.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So yeah, we have lots of questions for Marsha, but before we jump in, a couple other things I wanted to talk about. First of all, please rob me, because we're a Twitter show. We have to talk about please rob me.
Yes.
It was everywhere this week. Everybody, Marsha, I saw you tweeted it.
Yeah.
I know we all tweeted it. Is this kind of dumb? Maybe it's just me.
Which part dumb?
Well, it's the whole concept is for people who sort of missed this.
Explain it.
The whole concept is this it's criticizing these geolocation services like Brightkite or Foursquare or Gowalla, where you're letting everybody on Twitter know where you are. And their critique is basically this is letting robbers know you're not home so that they can go rob you. But unless you're constantly tweeting where you live, it's really not helpful to robbers, is it?
Oh, come on, you go. I was just going to say, there are plenty of sites where you can find out people's home addresses.
I mean, okay, so if you put some legwork into it, if I saw you tweeting...
If you're a criminal and you're going to be smart about it, ooh, let me see, can I find this person's home address? Yes, I did. Look, they are at the Roxy. I'll bet they're going to be at the Roxy for a good 4 hours. And bingo, I can rob the house.
That just seems like, couldn't you just pull into any suburban street in like a painter's van, hang out for 3 hours, wait till you're pretty sure someone's not home?
Which is easier if you're smart.
It seems like a lot of effort to me, and especially if you live in a big city, and the trouble of tracking down and figuring out, are you the right, sort of Marsha who's tweeting, and this is your apartment, and then to go to all the trouble, and, even if you're tweeting like, I'm at Panera Bread, or I'm at this place, you don't know if that's close to where they live.
I was going to say, here's the thing, though. I think you're right. I agree with you. But at the same time, if you're using Gowalla, Foursquare, all these other services that geotag your information, you sort of put enough stuff in the system where you can get a pretty good idea where someone lives. From that sense, I think it's worrisome for people.
Yeah, this is sort of a thing that I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday about, actually, weirdly enough. And the thought that we had was that if the government wanted to put surveillance on everyone and to get you to fill out a form of who you are and where you are at any given moment, we'd all freak out. But weirdly enough, with social media, we're just doing it for, if anyone wanted to look, government, bad people,
I'm
whatever.
Sure they are.
Right. So, we're basically filling out a form of who we are in excruciating detail, who all of our associates are, where we are at any given moment, and we're very delighted to do so. And it's sort of, but we don't really think of it in this context most of the time. So it is interesting.
I think the critique of, hey, you're letting the whole world know where you are, and that could cause all sorts of trouble for you, that part I sort of get, that especially if you were like a single woman or a person with like a big, weird, culty following.
And how many single women are on Twitter? Really, I think, honestly, anybody who's very active in social media in any way should have a big, badass security system at home. And if you don't have the money for a big, expensive one, they have the portable ones that you can put in an apartment. You should have some sort of security. I mean, in today's world, I'm not just being paranoid. I mean, there's security where you work. You should have it at home.
That makes sense. I mean, all of that makes sense. It's just this particular site with like, oh, you're going to let the robbers know where you are. It's like, that's a little paranoid. It's very suburban, a little paranoid.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, I read some article, someone talking about it, and I think even just low-tech ways, some person who had been familiar with this type of stuff said you just put like a flyer on a doorknob, and you go back in 2 days. If it's still there, they must be gone.
They're not home, yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of other ways that I think
I clean the garbage off my front door once a week.
I
don't waste my time.
It just reminds me of the people who like leave all the lights on in the house when they go on vacation. It's like, maybe somebody's going to be deterred, but I think it's a little
bit much.
Seems a little uptight to me.
You think we're giving crooks too much credit?
I do. I
That's
definitely
what you're
think.
saying,
I think
bottom
most of
line.
the time, if somebody's invading your house, it's like they want some crack, and they're not like on Twitter, like, oh my God, they're a coffee bean and tea leaf. I am on this. Like this, they're wandering around, like they're just looking for an open window or something they can break.
Yeah,
He's
good point.
breaking into a bank after
But
hours.
why give a smart one the ammunition? I always do my geolocating when I'm leaving. Like when I leave here,
that's a good
I will
tip.
do that.
That's what I usually do as well.
I don't do it when I come in.
After I did have one random encounter with somebody who like tracked me down based on something I tweeted.
Somebody force-stalked you?
Somebody force-stalked me.
Force-stalked you. That's a new word, TM.
There you go.
And after that, I decided, you know what, I'm going to start doing it right when I leave. So I get the credit for being there, and I get to participate in that way, but I don't have to be like sitting there and then somebody comes up and like, hey, I know you.
Well, I know one online celebrity who actually, when you go to their house, they ask that you turn your GPS off, which I'm not real clear about, but
that's kind of strange.
that was actually in the email.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay.
Turn off your GPS.
So next time you go to Tay Zonde's house.
So you don't know? No, I don't understand why, because
I don't
it's not like it's
understand
broadcasting
either.
to other people where you are.
If they know if someone knew that you were associated with that person, and maybe you're on Google Latitude, I mean, they don't know the services you're on.
That's true.
That's in the background. Maybe they could, figure something out.
I don't know.
You're right. You're going to like, sort of automatically push.
I'm not that smart to be able to figure that out.
No, that's Jason Bourne's not that smart. That's pretty advanced stuff.
Jack Bauer is.
Jack Bauer could figure it out.
You got it, my hero.
If Tezonde was a terrorist, Jack Bauer would be on top of it. Also, we should talk about Twitter Grader, because we were talking about this before the show, and you made the very adroit observation that if you live in a big city, you're kind of hosed.
Totally screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to compete with, I don't know, every big star, Twitney Spears, Twitney Spears, secretary, every celebrity who chooses to Twitter. There's no chance you're ever going to get your snaps and your good work on Twitter. So my idea is, for instance, we're in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. Let's all switch our Twitter location to Los Angeles County. I mean, currently I'm #1 in Los Angeles County.
Oh, now I see.
But the point is, if everybody moves over there, then at least we have our own city and we don't have to deal. I mean, the big celebrities are going to be on top anyway. At least we can have our own little world. I know they've done this in Atlanta, gone to, like slight suburban.
Take it back a little step.
Take it back a little step. There's no shame in Los Angeles County.
No?
It's a fine county. It's an upstanding county.
And that way we can have our own little Twitter world without the celebrities.
Until, Demi figures out where we are.
A+.
Yeah. They're on top of it.
No, they're in Los Angeles.
They may be watching this right now. They don't know. Yeah.
I'm sure he cares.
Yeah, he's my biggest fan. That was the guy that Twitter stalked me.
That was
him. I was like, dude, stop following me around, okay? Fine, I'll be in your movie. Okay. So yeah, I thought that was actually an interesting idea, because it's true. If you live in LA, everybody up the street
look at
from
Twitter,
me is
Twitter Grader right now, and you look at the ranking in LA. I mean, you've got.
Do that.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at it. You've got every celebrity, and I'm sure it's the same in New York or San Francisco. It's not the real people. Because, I mean, let's face it, Twitter is about real people, not about the celebrities.
Thank you, because that's how I feel. But I think too often it's sort of over. Maybe because it had that big surge of popularity when the celebrity started, that now everybody thinks
celebrities will always jump into anything because they're always looking to build brand.
Yeah.
But like in my new customer service book, Twitter is going to evolve into the way to deal with people and regular people. People text on their phone. They're going to get into Twitter. So, have you gotten Los Angeles yet?
I'm trying to load it up. It's going a little slow right now. Our laptop connection in here is always crappy.
But anyway, we're always dealing with all the celebrities. That's right.
We're doing what we can. The gerbil out there is running as fast as he can.
I know, and he's running the power system.
He really is.
Yeah, it's a little slow today. I don't know what's going on.
It is. The internet in here is terrible right now. So I can't go to Twitter Grab. But I'm sure if we go
to LA
and there's
try that. Los
Miley
Angeles
Cyrus,
County. Exactly.
She's off Twitter. She left Twitter.
I know.
Selena Gomez.
Did you know that Kathy Sierra left Twitter?
No, really.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
She did leave Twitter.
No, why was that?
She left her blog. I don't, I'm not in with the in crowd on that scale.
So we don't know this.
We don't know. Scoble knows, I'm sure.
Scoble knows?
Yeah, Scoble.
He talked to the guy that sells her frozen yogurt. So.
Be good. But I know she's off of Twitter, and I think that was a big loss because she actually did contribute considerably.
They'll be back. I feel like all those high-profile people who leave, a lot of them come
but
back.
Kathy was smart. She's just not a dumb celebrity. Did I say that?
Oops.
Kanye is great content every day. I will not even...
I'm just going to tell you.
Kanye just he lets people finish, and then he has brilliant insights. Okay, so was there anything else we were going to discuss? I feel like there was one other thing
we're
we
done.
wanted to bring
The
up.
show's over?
No,
Okay.
before I get into the regular questions. Okay,
Did you introduce this gentleman in the corner?
Oh, they're on every week. People know who they. No, this is Mike Bracco. He does our news, and this is Mark Jeffrey. He's sort of the producer of the entire This Week in family of shows, of which we
there
are
are six.
a part.
There are six.
There's six now.
We launched a new one. This Week in Cloud Computing.
This Week in Cloud Computing.
Yeah.
Well, wait. So This Week in Twitter. This Week in Startups. This Week in Android. This Week in Cloud Computing.
This Week in YouTube, your own show. You forgot that.
Oh, This Week in YouTube. Well, I don't think of that as the same.
You don't think of that?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
And what's the last one?
This Kevin Pollak's Chat Show.
Oh, right. Yes, the Sunday show.
The Sunday show. Exactly.
You're very much like the Saturday Night Live Lorne Michaels kind of thing.
Yeah, I just sort of drop in on the
like
show.
Lorne Michaels.
He's sitting there kind of being very Lorne Michaels.
Just very dry,
Yeah.
waiting for someone to address him directly.
I don't like to dive into your show.
Oh,
And I have to do another show today, too. So
I know you're saving.
saving it.
So do I. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Oh, you do, actually.
I
You're
do.
be on This Week in Stars.
Yes, two different shows. I know one more thing I wanted to talk about. Before we jump into the specific questions from Marsha Collier. The American Idols this year, for the first time, all on Twitter. I read about this yesterday. I don't know if I don't want to step on your news.
No.
Okay, good. And also, all the cast members from Jersey Shore, as we remember, were on Twitter. So is this, we were just talking about celebrities, is it like, are you really getting to know them, or is this all just like marketing savvy now, that they just put them all out there? Do you think these people really are going to be tweeting authentically what they would be interested in sending out?
Do they really care, honestly, about anything except building their brand? Why did they come to Twitter? Because they have a real need to connect to their community? I mean, no offense, I'm sure they're very nice people. And right now, I mean, especially if you look at the timing, this isn't the point when they would start building their community.
Yes, if they were savvy, they would have been doing this while you're in the line to do audition, you'd be on there.
Then they would have started. But what they're doing is jumping on the bandwagon. But this is the typical Hollywood-type PR gig. Britney Spears' secretary tweeting. It's more of building your brand and, okay, this is the hot new thing. I'll bet you that, like you say, they will be off eventually.
Yeah.
But, you know, and is it really them?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering is, you know, now they're putting so much emphasis on get to know them personally. And they did that. There was that movie When in Rome that just came out, and they had that same thing all in the posters. It was like, follow the stars on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I can't imagine Josh Duhamel and Fergie like hanging out on the couch tweeting.
Well,
really?
they might occasionally. But, I mean, you do get some sincere tweets, I think, out of some celebrities. Alyssa Milano, for one.
Yes, right.
You know,
well,
but you see, she's not on there broadcasting her message. The other people tend to do a lot of the broadcasting thing, which is like minus Web 1.0.
Yeah, I think...
well, I mean, Anne Rice does her own tweets and Facebook, and she's on all the time.
Exactly.
So there are people.
And she's an author, yeah. I mean,
I think the authors maybe are more prone to doing it.
There are also celebrities who are like, it's authentically them, and they're just kind of off. And that's how you can tell, like, Kirstie Alley it's definitely her. It's not an assistant, because they couldn't find anybody else to capture that voice, I think. But as you said, it's a lot of self-promotion.
But, you know, in doing some interviews for my book, I've found a lot of differing views on following back, which I think is very interesting. If you want to build a community, how much does it kill you to follow back?
Well, I think I used to auto-follow back everybody.
You don't have to.
As soon as they would follow me, I wouldn't even look, I would just go down the list. And I ended up stopping, one, because of spam. I mean, just so many bots.
Yeah, well, you delete them.
You have to kind of... So now I sort of take a more tentative, like, I look at the feed, and if it looks like somebody who's really trying to have content and have a discussion and is a real person, then I will follow.
Okay, Lon,
I have
as big as you are in this field, and I know you're really big, perhaps, and I didn't mean big like that.
No, that way I am big. I'm not really blowing up.
But the point is, you're not building a big community right now. You know, you're building it slowly and you're growing, okay? But you take a celebrity who their bread and butter relies on the people who buy tickets, the people who follow them.
Right.
By just including them as part of the community, that makes Minnie in Ohio feel really good. And Joe in Kansas, wow, she friended me. Wow, Alyssa Milano knows who I am. Alyssa Milano may not know who you are, but it gives the feeling of community, which is what it's all about. Now, you know, on Seismic or TweetDeck, you can isolate your individual friends, so you've got your stream of friends that you always want to see.
Yeah, and then lists now on Twitter make that a lot easier.
And you can private your list, too. So what does it kill anybody to make that human being feel good that they are included in the Twitter world? And I think it's almost offensive when celebrities don't follow back, because they owe everything.
It's an interesting view on that.
Yeah. I have a question, though. But then if you auto-follow everyone, doesn't essentially the follow mechanism become pointless? I mean, or
doesn't it lose its value?
It loses value. It loses its meaning. Or
when you are building an audience-type community, I mean, if someone annoys you, you can. I mean, I don't auto-follow back. I try. It's pitiful, but I try to read all the. And you know, if you're selling white teeth stuff, I generally don't follow. You know that.
Yeah.
You know, I generally don't follow. And when people follow me, I can't always. But the minute I get one of those weirdo DMs. I unfollow them.
Yeah, definitely. If you learn one thing from today's show,
don't send weirdo auto DMs.
Especially when just somebody follows you, don't immediately deal like, hey, thanks for the follow.
Yeah.
Check out this thing. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, tweet this.
Yeah.
Like, I know you. Oh, that's another thing. When people, they get to know you on Twitter, they get to know you on Facebook. Joe Blow says you should become a fan of.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
A, I don't know Joe Blow real well. I'm sure he reads my books. But B, I really have no concept of what he wants me to fan. You'd think perhaps if they really wanted you to fan, they'd send a message explaining what they're doing.
Yeah, I get those a lot too.
Exactly.
And it's like, you can't tell, is this a live show? Is this a podcast? Is this your blog? I don't even know what it is.
Oh, I've even gotten, like a shoe store. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you've got a good shoe store.
Floorshine is
But
really fantastic.
But
They're
I'm not visiting Topeka tomorrow, and I don't know that I want to lend my name to endorse your store. I think people should start re-looking at putting up a fan page for everything in the world and blankly inviting everybody to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting thing about, sort of authenticity in that way, is that you want to be including everybody and you want to have this big community, but, we're all busy people, and to really have authentic interaction with all these people is not even remotely possible. I mean,
Facebook
we've got thousands of followers.
Facebook does allow that somehow with the fan pages, and, I don't have a huge fan page following, but I'm sure the people who read my books are there, and they find me in that way. So if people are reading my books, they know who I am, then it's okay to fan. I fan magazines that I like, and I fanned the show here.
Thank you.
Because I like the show, and I think everybody out there should. Where do they go to fan the show on Twitter? I mean, on Facebook.
On Facebook, it's just This Week in Twitter, right?
That's right. This Week.
Okay, everybody become a
This Week in
fan.
Twitter.
It's a group.
On Facebook. Thank you.
And to be honest with you, I mean, the reason why we have a page is so that people who are interested in the show can know when we're, who the guest is coming up.
Hence the
all that
point
stuff.
of a fan page.
Right.
Yes.
It's a more direct way. We have the same thing for This Week
Exactly.
in YouTube when new episodes go up, when we change the format, when we do something special, right?
I mean, I came across a fan page. Am I getting off topic here?
No.
Okay. Little fan page. There's
no
a
organization
veterinarian on Twitter in Huntington Beach. Unfortunately, Vet Loving Pets HB. And she has a fan page on Facebook. She's active on Twitter. She twit pics when cute dogs come into her office.
Nice.
I mean, here is someone with a business who is using Twitter and Facebook to the right advantage.
And it's organic. I mean, it feels
Exactly.
natural to
Exactly.
what her business is about. Yeah.
Exactly, and she's doing it right, and people can be doing this right.
Yeah, and not polluting. I think
Exactly.
that's the other. We were talking about this. I won't mention names, but we all have a mutual acquaintance. A lot of people who work here who runs some shows periodically, and 3 times a day for the week leading up to the show. Is like
it's not Jason. Just sort of really.
It's not Jason.
It's not Jason.
Please don't fire me. It's just. I mean, I get what he's trying to do, and he doesn't want you to forget that it's going on, and he's adding guests all the time and making it better. But I mean, it's just saps your desire to not only go to the show, but
I was just sick of it. I was sick of seeing the same thing come in my inbox seriously on a daily basis.
Now, I am guilty. Before my radio show on Saturday morning, I will tweet that the show is going to go on.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's promotion.
But my show is from noon to 2 on Saturdays. So just before I'll tweet the guests during the show, and then I'm done.
I think Twitter too, more so than Facebook. Like, I expect in people's Twitter feeds to find updates about what they're doing.
Exactly.
I mean, if I wasn't interested in what they were doing at all,
you wouldn't
I would
follow them.
not be following.
Exactly.
So I don't think like yesterday I tweeted, hey, we're doing the show, Marsha Collier's here, you should check it out. And then today, right before the show, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
There's something about sending people messages on Facebook all the time because you get notified and alerted
Oh,
when
and
somebody
all those
contacts
emails.
you.
I mean, I've already routed the Facebook emails. Sorry, to go into a separate folder that I address when I have the time.
Right.
Because it's ridiculous.
And the people are giving you a sheep in Farmville.
Oh, I've got over 1,200
the
emails in
hassle
3
in
days. It's
Fishville
ridiculous.
What's really annoying is when people invite you to an event that's like, half the world away.
In Chicago.
It's like,
yeah.
maybe you should just look at your invite list. And
I get great invitations to parties in Barcelona. I'm just saying.
That would actually.
Now, there's
Facebook
no
should
way to
do that as a feature. Now,
I think
now
you
that
can.
Or just like geographically constrain
just
the
like
invites?
you could say invite all of my friends in, and then specify.
Well, here's
a
the
city.
thing.
You
Well,
can,
no.
if you
You
bought
know
an
why?
ad on Facebook,
Yeah.
you can
Yes.
do that.
Right.
And honestly, because if they did give that to you, Lon, it would be, you would get much more spam. Because in order to
Right.
invite someone, you have to explicitly click on them, right? You have to like go through your entire list. You can't just say invite everyone.
Well, how about when you're so you do it this way. When you're making an event, you specify where it is and the radius, and then it only gives you the option of inviting friends who are in that area.
That would be better.
That would be good.
So you could say, like, this is, this event is in LA. It won't let you invite people beyond an hour.
So look in the
radius.
camera and give them the tip. So they're going to do this.
Which camera? There we go.
Hey Zuckerberg, you listening?
This is
Zuckerberg,
this is so out of the Calacanis playbook. Like, all right, cut it right here. Make this, put this on YouTube. Memo to Mark Zuckerberg. No, that's a good idea. I think I'm not really going to say it in the camera. I would feel.
I know nobody heard it anyway.
No, please. 54 people watching this right now. When Facebook adds this in a year, they will all come back and say, he really knew what he was talking about. So, okay, we're talking about self-promotion. How essential do you think it is for somebody who's running an online business to be on Twitter as opposed to just generally active in social media, blogging, what have you?
Well, speaking of self-promotion, I do have like an 8-minute
As we
video.
always are.
I do have an 8-minute video on my blog and YouTube, and that's how people who are online sellers and online businesses can promote themselves. The bottom line is, being on Twitter means being real. Means being, like we talked earlier, being human beings. We're all human beings. We all have our own gigs. We all have our own stuff to do. And if you go on Twitter and you just hammer an advertising message over and over again, nobody's going to follow you. Everybody's going to unfollow you who gave you a break. So the way to do it is to engage people. And I mean, even people like Richard Branson, they're out there, they're engaging people. They're speaking as human beings. And if they toss off, a little business promo once a day, twice a day, maybe 1 out of every 8 tweets, that's not bad. I'm not talking about @replies, I'm talking about straight tweets.
Yeah.
It's actually welcome. I mean, there's one, and I forgot her name, on Twitter, and she has an eBay store that sells vintage lingerie. Really nice stuff. So when I see her tweet occasionally amongst her stream that, there's a brand new peignoir set, oh, that's good, I'd like to, because then it's welcome.
Right.
Exactly. But if you're not a person first, if you're going to go on there and be a marketer first, you're going to lose. You may be, you can be a flash in the pan, you can be an immediate success. I've been doing this stuff 12 years. To stay in the game, you have to be real, and your audience has to believe you're real.
Well, now what about companies that are, their brand, like Virgin Airlines, for example, they have a Twitter feed, and they actually manage things very well, I think. And you can feel there's people there, but it's not a person, and they're not. The only thing that they're tweeting about is stuff related to their business. How does that fit into your view of the world?
Well, but Dish Network, because I don't follow their stream, I'll give you the Dish Network example because I follow them. Yeah, they'll talk about upcoming shows. Most of their stream, though, is @replies to other people.
Yes, that's true.
With people asking questions. And if you have a staff and you're a big company and you're going to be twittering, to use the caret and then the initials of the person who responds. So then it's a person. It's not like a blind corporation.
Right. Okay. So it's a person inside the corporate.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Exactly.
I got it, so.
And actually, there are company feeds that I follow where occasionally they will just say something personal. Like, I know LA Metro or the Metro line actually has a Twitter feed that I follow because they talk about like when their trains are going to be delayed or when they're adding trains or whatever. And they will every once in a while just throw in, like, hey, who's been to this hot dog place? It's really awesome.
Right.
LAFD talk also.
Yeah.
I remember somebody twittering, they heard sirens all around their house and there's helicopters, what the heck's going on? And LAFD talk tweeted back to them, oh, we have a situation, not to worry, it's taken care of.
Huh.
And that really does make it so much more compelling as an experience.
Does anyone know what Southwest did? Was the whole Kevin Smith kerfuffle?
Part of the news.
Okay.
Come
Right.
on.
Then we'll save it. Then we'll save
Come
it.
on.
Sorry.
Don't step
But
on
just
Brocco's
to add
Sorry,
to the conversation, one thing I really like, and I don't think it's perfect for every brand in every case, but when they have the actual face of the person and maybe like a little icon of the company, it just feels like you're talking to a person. Because when you're replying to a logo, it's just not.
Exactly.
And even if it's just the logo, I really like when they say, manage by, and they put the user, the handles
well,
in the bio.
that's why I suggested when they do their tweets, they sign them with the caret, the little, and their initials. And that makes it a real person, because being a real person is what new media is all about. And that's the only way to connect with customers now, in my humble opinion.
So speaking of @replies, do you try to respond to everyone who asks you something or directly responds to you. And so how do you keep all, I mean, how do you do it in terms of the time, but also how do you keep all the conversations straight that are going on at once?
Okay, I go on Twitter kind of in spurts. I mean, I'm not hanging there all day. You know, I'll be working, I'll be writing, then I'll go to Twitter.
Right.
I'll thank people for retweets, and I know that's boring to everybody else, but that's inclusion. I can't reply to everybody, so I'll thank for retweets. I generally do answer anybody who @s me. It's common courtesy. I mean, think if you're standing at a cocktail party and somebody walks over and asks you a question. How rude is it to go, I'm busy? You know, you can't do that. If you got to take the responsibility that comes with community.
So, but I mean, if you're auto-following everyone, and then you're responding to everyone who's sort of commenting to you, how can you possibly sort of keep up and not just, aren't there days when you're just like, oh, I can't be on Twitter today, I'm tired.
And you know what? I'm not on Twitter that day. I'm just out for the count. But generally, I use Seismic, and I'll click on their name to see their bio before I answer, to be sure it's not some get-rich-quick lunatic.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'll respond to them. But I do it. I wouldn't consider doing it any other way, actually.
So Seismic is your desktop?
Well, you know, I go back and forth from Seismic to TweetDeck, and they're pretty much the same. Although, you know, Loic would like us to believe that Seismic is ever so much better.
And what do you use for your mobile device?
Oh, you're going to laugh. I'm on a Palm Pre, so I use Tweed. And I love Tweed. Tweed is actually an excellent platform.
I've never used that one. I'm on Twirl here, but I've got which is the Seismic
right.
one. But yeah, I've got to move up because Twirl doesn't have the sort of the columns and the ability to just zero in on certain users. So it gets a little chaotic.
See, I'm still
sometimes.
back on Terrific, and I know I know that's like ghetto.
Well,
and everything,
it was so
but
featured. There were just no features.
I know. Well, see, the thing is, like, I'm of the viewpoint that I'm following everyone that I want to follow, and I don't need the list separation, and I'm fine with big giant string.
But I need the list separation, and I also occasionally have to DM longer than 140 characters, and I can do that on Seismic, where you can't elsewhere.
Yeah.
Google Buzz. You can do it on Google Buzz. What are your thoughts on Google Buzz? No?
Well, here.
No, I want to hear what Marsha has to say about this.
I want to hear the Google Buzz shiver explanation.
Oh, God. Another friend feed. Shoot me now. I mean, and it appears, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you totally opt out of it. Now it's taken over my Google profile, which I used as an online business card and was very well set up. Now you look at it, and the Google Buzz is the default that shows up. Oh, what's that? Hello? You blew the whole point of the profile. I mean, you can have the buzz on the side, space it properly. What's a profile if all it shows is your tweets? What's the point? So Google, I'm really not happy with Google. And aside from the privacy issues, I think they're taking on a little too much. Exactly what are they? I mean, are they a search company? Are they a software company? Or I've heard they're trying to become an ISP also.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Well, you know, direction folks. You know, I'm not happy with Google Buzz. I'm trying it, but I really.
Do you feel like you're forced to use it? I mean,
I feel like I'm forced.
Are you using
Absolutely. No.
You're not. So you're not.
It's
so you basically opted out of participating.
No,
in it
I didn't
completely.
opt out. It's there, because honestly, for SEO and stuff like that.
Because you have to. I mean,
you have to. Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I need
my view
to.
of it.
It's my brand. I have to. But I can answer people on Twitter. I mean, how often do you use friend feed, really?
Oh, not at all.
No, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only this is friends feed that's been jammed down my throat, and I don't like that.
Well, I was going
Do
to
you
ask
use
you,
it?
because I noticed that your homepage, your page actually redirects to your Google profile. And I noticed the buzz was right there. So what was your strategy on using Google profile as sort of your online hub?
Well, it was interesting. You know, I did that early on, and a bunch of people, Chris Brogan and everybody, and Brian Solis, they all jumped on it. They said it was a great idea. And it really is. By having your name, which is like, I'm MarshaCollier.com, that is like a hub, because I have a blog, I have a Posterous, I have my YouTube, I have a bajillion things, CoolEbayTools.com. And from this page, it's like an online business card. Because if I was to put all that stuff on a business card, it would be ridiculous. You go to MarshaCollier.com, you can contact me, find out anything about me. I even lifted some stuff off of LinkedIn, you know, recommendations from when I spoke, and put it on there. I mean, it's an online resume, really, without being a resume. So yeah, if they would just please please move that buzz off the front of my page, I'd be a lot happier, or I'll just drop it and come up with a new toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they wanted to, which makes a lot of sense. They wanted to kind of integrate it so you had a lot of users and you had a lot of followers right away.
Well, they didn't want to jam it down your throat.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little bit too much.
They feel threatened by Facebook and Twitter, clearly. And I think that this is the defensive move. I mean, they feel.
But again, what are they?
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is what they are and what Facebook is are starting to collide.
Exactly.
If you started to build search inside of Facebook,
right,
why would I ever leave? And that's what they're afraid of. And so now that this is my opinion, but I think that they basically they feel they have to make a defensive move to protect their core search or advertising business, actually. So.
Yeah, I just think there should be a way to do that without making it like you can't opt out, where it's just so overwhelming.
Well, if you opt out, you're screwed altogether.
Right.
So you can't semi-opt out, you can't adjust it. It's either the whole Monty or nothing.
I mean, I personally think it's sort of a move to open things. Everything that Buzz is built on open standards. And if you look at sort of Google sort of pushing Facebook to open up their status updates.
But they're not doing that because they're nice guys. They're doing that because Facebook is winning.
Well,
and that's what the other guy always does when the incumbent is winning. They say, "Oh, it's all about open standards, and we should all get together, right?" That's what Android is. Android is basically an attack on the iPhone. Mm-hmm. This is basically an attack on Facebook and Twitter because they feel like they're losing.
Right.
It's not because they're cool, and it's not because they're not evil. They're business.
He's right.
They're not evil. It's right there in the mission statement, okay?
It says we are evil.
Well, what else but an evil company would say we're not evil right there? It's like the aliens who land and say we come in peace. Like they're the ones who are going to nuke the White House in the next scene. Everybody knows that. So.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have to say we weren't evil.
We wouldn't need black helicopters.
If you're not evil, you don't have to say I'm not evil. People are just like, well, he's obviously not evil. He's not murdering me right now. So yeah, I've always mistrusted them with the don't be evil.
You know what the mission statement of eBay was? All people are inherently good.
Well, that's a little.
That's a nice way to start.
That's not saying we're good. That's
no, all people are inherently good. I mean, great way to start a community, I think.
Yeah, no, that makes more sense because it's talking about the community, and that's really eBay is so driven, or at least originally. Now I think people sort of trust eBay implicitly because it's just been around so long.
Well, and PayPal guarantees everything you buy on the site, so
you just have it's like Amazon or anything else. It's just such an established brand at this point. But I remember in the early days of eBay, there was this like, am I going to just send my money out there into the wilderness? And
exactly, never knew.
Never my jacket.
It was kind of an adventure, wasn't it?
It was. It was
like,
an adventure.
Oh my goodness!
I remember going back to my grandparents. They've come up a lot, but they had a clock, this big clock. Nobody had room for anymore that we sold on eBay. And this was this was late '90s.
Was it like a grandfather clock?
Aughts. No, it was a wall-mounted clock, and it was weird because we're Jews and don't have the angels thing. But there were like these angels on it leading up to the Faithfully at the Center. I don't know why a couple Jews from Philadelphia had this clock, but they did. And there was nobody moved, and nobody had room in their house for this thing. So we decided to sell it on eBay, and they were so like, they just assumed we were going to ship it to somebody who would then take off with it and never come back. And even when you would explain it to them, like, well, no, but this person has a reputation, and it will be sullied if they don't pay, and it's guaranteed.
So how did this work out for you?
Eventually, we sold the clock, and they got the money, and now they're fine with it, and they've used eBay.
I just wrote eBay for seniors. You might want to, I can send you a copy of that for them.
Good, because they got a lot of crap hanging around.
That's why I wrote the book. I figure who has more crap?
Yeah,
and
they're
seniors,
and they move to smaller places.
They need to get rid of crap.
No, that makes a lot of sense. It's a good one. I'll pick that up at a store near you.
I didn't bring a copy.
We should show some of the books.
Yeah, we should. We got all these books here. Let's walk us through. Are these recent ones? Or
Am I on there?
You can go to that one.
Okay. Oh.
They got you. They got you.
Yeah. No, eBay for seniors I didn't bring.
Oh well.
And and it doesn't have people with walkers on it.
Is it large print at least?
It is large print. And for those,
I know what I'm doing.
For those who aren't really seniors, like maybe your parents who wear reading glasses.
They're getting there.
And
they're watching.
No, they're not.
They're not.
No, actually, this isn't a current book, but I brought it. I thought Amanda was going to be here.
Right, Amanda Coulong, our usual.
And I wrote this book, Santa Shops on eBay, which I haven't really updated, but it's the tricks of shopping online and how to find the best deals. So that's like not a big one, but I thought Amanda would like it.
What would be the number one? Start early? What's the number one tip for doing your Christmas shopping
about
on eBay?
Christmas shopping, you start now. I mean, and there are things you can look for that you know people are going to like. I remember, I know it's not cool to have a fur coat, but I found fur coats, mink coats, in the middle of summer being sold by a New York furrier. So they were going cheap because nobody's buying mink coats in June, July. So I bought 4 of them at $2.50 a piece. I turned around in November and resold them with a $7.50 buy it now. Kept one for myself because it was so profitable.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, that's the kind of thing, if you sell on season and buy off season is the way to really take advantage of the online market. And that's kind of discussed in my eBay for Dummies. This is the 6th edition. You mentioned the first one came out in 1999. Yeah. And
if my research was correct.
Still chugging, and thank God and thank you, everybody. It's still the #1 book worldwide on eBay. It sold over 1 million copies, and yeah, really good. I have also Starting an eBay Business, which is a Business Week magazine bestseller, and that's still selling. That's the next one I'm going to update. But the one, by the way, I brought these books for you guys.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
This book,
I need the help, yeah.
it's a little big.
Oh, that's a big book.
That's a book.
Yeah, well, the point is it has a great index. And I'd say probably this much of it's about eBay. The rest is starting a business. Because a lot of us who start online businesses, nobody taught us how to do a business. Do you know?
Right.
Would you have a clue as to what licenses you need to get?
No.
Okay, in the book. What kind of taxes you have to pay? It's in the book. You know, what's the difference between an accountant and an enrolled agent?
It's in the book.
I don't know.
It's in the book.
I would have to.
But if you're running a business, too many people go online and say, I'm in business, and bada bing, and next thing you're getting fined by the state, the city, and the federal government. So it's got that stuff here. I worked with Intuit on how to put together your bookkeeping on a home-based business. So that's in the book. As a matter of fact, in my eBay Power Seller book, there's even a free copy of QuickBooks Simple Start
That's
cool.
good.
on a CD. So yeah, that's another book.
Yeah. I need the post office tips. That's the part that always keeps you
Oh
from
my
selling
gosh,
stuff on
do you
eBay,
know
is the
that's
waiting
my-
in line at the post office.
You don't have to do that anymore. Okay, I've got that snapped. One of my favorite topics. I never go to the post office.
Good.
If you go
I try to
to,
avoid it when I can.
and I ship every day. I still sell on eBay. I've been a power seller since the '96. Since the first one, my certificate's signed by Piero Midyar.
It's framed on the wall.
Well, no, it's on my About Me page on eBay. Okay, if you go to Endicia.com/CoolEbayTools, you can get a free trial to use Endicia, which is print your postage at home. Okay,
yes.
so you print your postage at home. Endicia will also print customs forms, everything you need, media mail, first class mail up to 13 ounces. So then you go to another place online, you buy your padded envelopes. I have this all sitting in my house. As I sell stuff, just shove it in, print the label, and put a little flag out in my mailbox for my mailman to come in and pick up. We have packages. I never go to the post office. And you can buy.
You brought the post office to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything but the
and you
smelly
can buy
people
the little.
online.
You can buy the little scale. Not a big deal. It's really, actually, that's the easiest part of shipping out. And when you think of it, wow, people just gave me money in my PayPal account. How cool is that? So I'll ship this stuff out. What do I care? And sometimes if I'm in a really good mood, I'll go, $20 profit, $30 profit. Oh, that was $50 profit. You know, it makes me feel good to ship items.
How do you, the chat room wants to know, how do you spell the name of the print your own postage company?
ENDICIA.com/CoolEbayTools will get you the free trial. That's TOOLS. That'll get you the free trial.
My URL has been removed. Hang on. I got it. Oh, I'm not logged in. Are you logged in as an admin?
Yeah,
I'm not logged in.
I'm not an admin, though.
Make
Yes.
it so.
Yes, it's the same laptop.
All right. Well, we'll log in. Well, it's yeah. Can we put that on the? This would be amazing if they.
Do
can
we have
that.
a Chiron?
Can we put that on the Chiron? Because we do
All
have
right.
Chirons.
Nice.
ENDICIA.com/CoolEbayTools.
And you know, that's the only website that eBay is actually allowed to have eBay in the URL.
Oh.
And I've had it since '99. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, I've done it without the .com, so they can figure it out there. So okay, last question before we move on. What's the most common mistake noobs like myself make when they're getting started selling and buying online, aside from going to the post office? Which we'll cover.
But you know, it's really funny. It's almost like we were talking about Twitter, is being a human being, and that when you sell something, you're selling to other human beings. And this is what forced me to work on the new book I'm working on, and that customer service is community and caring about the customer. Put a description that tells the person. I always say, make a description as if your pictures got lost on the server. So if somebody reads that description, they know exactly what you're selling.
That's a good, just general Twitter tip. In addition to if you're selling stuff, is to be. I notice people like tweet their blog posts all the time, and it says like, new blog post. Cool. It's like, I'm not going to click on that. I don't care. It's you got to, give it a headline. Give it something sexy.
Well, Twitter is all about headlines.
Yes.
Twitter is all about headlines. If you don't post it properly, nobody's going to click your link.
Exactly. And I mean, that is something I think people really don't sort of grasp.
And
largely.
keyword, hello?
Yeah.
We talk about keywords. Keywords for eBay. Keywords for Twitter. Keywords everywhere on the web. Be smart. Don't use them spuriously, but use them when they're applied. And you will draw more people. So, I mean, write your description. Treat it like you care. Check your email. If someone emails you with a question, answer the question. A lot of people don't do that. They think, I'm going to just sell this thing. And don't think you're going to get rich quick, because you're not. Duh. There is no get rich quick, whether it's on eBay or social media or anything else. You're going to have to work.
Unless you have that great teeth whitening cream. That works for people right away.
It does, it does. And people are flocking to it, But since I don't have that, I actually have to work, and I enjoy doing it. A lot of people go out there and all they do is seminars, and I do seminars too, but I enjoy doing the real work because I feel, how much credibility do I really have? One of the big brains I met at Blog World, not mentioning any names, but he said to me, "Oh, honey, I can really help you build your name." I'm going, "Really, Mr. Man? You really should stop doing that, eBay stuff yourself and hire someone to do it." And I thought, wow, how douchey. You mean I am going to tell people how to do something that I wouldn't do myself?
Was it Tim Ferriss? Was it the 4-hour week guy? Sounds like his MO.
No. But that's the point.
Right.
You have to be what you present yourself to be. And if you're not, you may be that flash in the pan, but people are going to find you out sooner or later.
Yeah, and you too. I mean, it's so important for you to have credibility as somebody who really sells on eBay, because you're sort of educating all these other people about how to do it. You have to stay in touch with that.
Well, but it's not just eBay. It's Twitter. It's Facebook. It's when you spoke about the celebrities.
Yes.
If they're not sincere, I mean, it's more crap on the airwaves.
Yeah, it's just more sort of pollution out there, garbage.
Much better phrase.
Clogging up the works. So now it's time for my favorite part of the show, because I'm the only one who knows the answers. Name that hashtag. We have a graphic.
Is that new?
No, the graphics. We've had the graphics.
Nice graphic.
Thank you. I designed it myself. No, I didn't. I didn't at all. So the way the game is played, it's a little bit like Name That Tune. I have hashtags that were trending topics at some point this week, and I'll give you hints, and I will read off tweets that had that hashtag on them, and then you guys try to guess.
Figure out what the hashtag
What the hashtag was that united all of these tweets. Now, I will give you warning in advance. The game's always way too hard, and everybody always is like, I'm getting constant comments like, "Oh, it's so hard." So,
but the chat room always guesses it.
The chat room does usually get it
because they're in front of their computers.
They can look it up. They can look it up. They can cheat. That's true. So this time, I'm going to try to make the hints more descriptive, so that the hints are easier. So it might be easier to guess what the hashtag was. So this first one, these are all things someone should say. So you guess who should say these things, according to the Twitter community. Number 1, it wasn't me. Number 2, I was hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, that's the governor guy.
Well, that's what he said, but who else should say this? Because that was Mark Sanford made that quote famous. Right. That was his excuse for going to Argentina.
Tiger Woods probably would have done well with that.
Tiger Woods.
Very good. And 2 tweets.
Really?
That was Tiger should say. The things Tiger should say. And my favorite one, number 7, I thought this was a giveaway. Tiger should say, "Assalamu alaikum, my new name is Eldrick Shabazz Muhammad Akbar." That was at Van Geek Hustle. That was a really good one.
Good one.
Okay, so this next one, this is the name of an underappreciated holiday. An underappreciated holiday from this week. Number 1, do you have to give up stuff for Lent if you forgot to celebrate this holiday? Let's see. Number 2, thank you, Twitter, for keeping me connected to the important things in life. Not Fat Tuesday, but close.
Close, huh?
Thank you, Twitter, for keeping me connected to the important things in life. Was at Bubblesprout. Next one.
Day?
Which one?
President's Day?
Not President's Day.
I'm Jewish. What do you want from me?
Gravy, bolognese, salami. What's wrong with lemon and sugar? Nothing better. Still no guesses? Do we have any guesses from the chat room at this point?
Lemon, as in with palm fronds? Is it that time of year? Or is that...
Not
it's
palm
not
fronds.
now?
Saying Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras, it's very close. The last one I'll give, it's sacrilege there isn't an international house of bacon. That was at Jesus M. Christ.
I got nothing.
The answer,
Fat Tuesday.
Chat room, Pancake Day. This week was Pancake Day.
You know, and I tweeted Pancake Day.
It was Pancake Day this week.
have
So
never
those
got
were
that.
all tweets from Pancake Day. And actually, Smexy Romance tweeted the explanation for why we have Pancake Day,
Why
which
is
is
that?
Fat Tuesday. It's Mardi Gras, and it was called Pancake Day because you could use up your milk, eggs, and your flour before Lent. So you would make pancakes on Pancake Day.
There you
That was
go.
very interesting.
You
Did not know
learn
that.
something. What a good show this is.
See?
Yeah, we learn
Thank
something
you.
every minute.
Finally, somebody appreciates it.
Respect, man.
All right. So the last one, this was the name of a classic 90s reality series, is also the name of this
Okay.
hashtag. Number 1, why does everyone love Raymond? Number 2, where are all my lost ballpoint pens? Number 3, the ingredients listed on the bags of McDonald's apples. Why are there ingredients? Shouldn't it just be apple? I'll keep going. Number 4, why are vacuums so loud? Number 5, how come some cartoon characters' eyebrows are not on their face?
Seinfeld?
No, reality show.
Oh,
It's
reality
the name. It's the
show,
name.
yeah.
This was the name of a reality show. It's also the hashtag that unites all of these tweets.
The real world?
Number 6, how does Wikipedia get all this information? Who's writing this? And finally, there are no other kinds of mysteries. No one.
I'm lost.
No one.
I got
I'm
nothing.
totally
Another
lost.
one for the chat room. Another suggestion. Where are all my socks? The answer: unsolved mysteries.
Is that I guess it is.
Unsolved
A reality
mysteries.
Yeah.
Of
show.
course
I don't really
it-
think of it as a reality show, but I guess
What?
it is.
Because it's unsolved.
Yeah, right.
Right.
If it was real, it
Who
would have
knows
been
what
solved.
kind of show
Yeah.
that is? We'll
Exactly.
never know. So that was named that hashtag. Thanks. We did better this week, though. 2 of them.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
did better.
the hints.
Getting
The
better.
hints.
It's good, yeah.
The hints are clearly the key. Well, we only have a few minutes left. Let's go to Mike.
The news.
With the news.
There you go. He's got his paper.
It says Lon, sexiest man in the world. I know you turned around too late to see.
I saw that.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't want. I
And
wouldn't
you
want
knocked
to miss
Tiger
out.
Woods' picture out of there, so.
Yes, right. He was very. Oh, okay.
All right, so we mentioned it a little bit before. So Kevin Smith, the writer, director of some big movies.
Generally portly fellow.
Yeah, a little bit on the bigger side. And
know.
so he was on a flight from Oakland International Airport on Southwest, kicked off the flight because they
Yes.
said he was too fat. Fatgate was the Twitter.
Fat gay, too fat to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a number of variations.
So he went about complaining, a bunch of tweets on his 1.6 million follower Twitter account. And
he's at that Kevin
immediately
Smith, by the way.
caused Twitter and the internet to just go crazy about this. So is it crazy for companies like this to not know who someone famous is? Should they be monitoring? Should they have sort of
How about they shouldn't kick fat people off planes?
Well,
How
beyond
about
say-
they
beyond the-
shouldn't
yeah,
care
sure,
about
definitely.
when rich entitled blowhards make a lot of noise instead of, maybe
mean-
going direct?
Yeah.
Instead of, he could have done it, and I think it's terrible that they knocked him off the flight. But I think he could have possibly handled it a little better where he might have gotten a little more sympathy from the audience. I don't think he managed to pull the sympathy he wanted to get.
Do you think he was wrong for
No,
expressing
I
himself
think
like-
you should always, I think he did it absolutely. But I think he just carried it a little far. It was kind of like a little whiny baby.
Yeah.
I think it sort of snowballed, and as he
Yeah.
saw so many people responding,
He was loving
getting
it.
so much
He's
more
rolling
attention.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is kind of his personality
Yeah.
anyway. Of sort
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, but remember, when
Being
we're out on
loud.
Twitter, our personality shows. And if there's something in our personality that the world doesn't need to see, we should be really
Well,
careful.
I mean, I think this could not have happened before Twitter.
Right.
I mean, if he
Right.
he could have gotten on TV and said something, but it wouldn't have been the same. Because it's happening in real time.
It would have been later. I think that's the
Yeah, it
key.
would
Is
have
He
been
could have
like-
gone on Kimmel 3 days later and
Yeah.
said, "Hey, you know what happened to me? This was an
Yeah, yeah.
outrage." But it's over. In a way, the audience wouldn't
Right.
react in that way because
Did
it
you ever
happened
hear
already.
about Delta Skelter? Okay, this was kind of in the early days of Twitter. Joseph Jaffe had a horrible experience on Delta. He put out a video that's on YouTube right now, Delta Skelter, which just ripped Delta one way from the next. And he got on there, he did his video, he gave the facts. It got a great groundswell of sympathy because it was the facts. It wasn't whining. And I think he just did it right. I think there are ways to do things right and not.
There was also United Breaks Guitars, obviously. It was one of the top YouTube videos of all last year, and it was about the guy who United broke his guitar
was it
while
presented?
they were shipping it.
It was presented factually.
I think, in fairness to
it's
Kevin, I feel like this was something, of course you would tweet that in the moment because it's so outrageous. It's like, I'm sitting in the seat, I can't be too fat for the seat.
Yeah.
And they're actually removing him from a plane, and obviously, probably as a well-known LA director, I'm sure that does not happen to him often. He usually gets excellent customer service where he goes. Must have been quite a shock. And then I think it's possible that it sort of took on this much larger life of its own and kind of got away from him. So if he had sort of had some time to plan out a media strategy, he probably would have. Planning
a media strategy is always important to do.
It is, yes.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think it's great that it happened. I mean, it's great that you can shine a light.
It's great that Kevin Smith got kicked
No,
off.
that's not what I'm saying.
Good, finally. Maybe he'll drop a couple
What I'm saying,
LBs.
just to be very clear, is that that it's great that basically people can react like this in a public forum.
Exactly.
Even if they take it too far, even if they get excited.
Yeah.
But like I said, it reflects them.
Sure, but that is him.
And
that is Kevin Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
So, nonetheless, the fact that we can actually, I mean, Southwest really took a punch to the head.
Yeah.
And they should have gotten a punch to the head.
Right.
It makes them look bad, and actually, I think
the fact that he got on another plane immediately in one seat showed that either he'd lost 25 pounds in an hour, or he could actually squeeze his butt into a seat.
Yeah, I think that, to me, that's the biggest issue of all, is this policy makes no sense if you're already boarded. I mean, if they stop you before you get on the plane,
his deal is he usually buys 2 seats because he's a big Hollywood mogul.
He's just big. So
No, he usually buys 2 seats. That was part of the story. So, that might have contributed.
But this time, well, they don't know how cop-out's going to go one way or the other. They're being reining it in a little, being a little conservative.
Another story, speaking of sort of authority on Twitter, this week, Adly, AD.ly, the big advertising platform based on Twitter, opened itself up to all Twitter users. It was in like a private beta for publishers, which are the Twitterers. But basically, Adly is a service that you can sign up with as a power Twitter user, and it basically tweets out advertisements from your Twitter stream with a little notation in parentheses AD to denote that it's an ad. So what do you guys think about this? It has right now 26,000 publishers or Twitterers signed up with the service. Only 21 of those have 1 million or more followers. There's high-profile people like NBC, Microsoft. They're using this service. Basically they bid on different users and how much they're willing to pay for a tweet from their stream.
This is nothing new. IZEA has.
And Magpie was doing this
as they've been doing that for a long time.
So I guess this is sort of basically creating a platform, sort of like Google AdSense, a platform for advertisers to connect with Twitter users. So what do you guys think about that? Would you ever do that in your Twitter stream, or would you be offended by seeing?
I'll be honest, if I'm paid enough for a product that I like, I believe, kind of Oprah protects her community. I don't want to expose anybody in my community to garbage, so I really have to believe in something. If I believe in it and they want to pay me for it, I might do it occasionally. I wouldn't make a habit of it because that's a quick way to get unfollowed.
So the way they have it now is if you sign up as a user for a campaign, it's 4 tweets over 1 week. So that's sort of the arrangement they have now.
I would say, I think if you're producing amazing original content, like if you're posting once a day and it's a link to, a blog where they put Tom Selleck next to a waterfall with a sandwich, which is
cleaning his teeth.
Selleck waterfall sandwich, by the way. Google it. You won't regret it. But if it's one stupid Tumblr blog a day going out and then there's an ad, that's not a worthwhile condition for me. Like I'm not getting enough value from that. But
and how much are they getting really?
Right.
I think
it's hardly worth it.
I've heard upwards of like $10,000 a tweet for like Kim Kardashian's Twitter stream.
And there she is on Twitter Grader. She's another one that's clogging up Los Angeles.
That's on the high end. That's very high.
But the point is, your average Joe, what are you going to get? $2?
Yeah, it would probably.
If somebody uses an Amazon link, I get more than that. So, if you believe, I believe you should do it if you believe in the product. But hey, if you.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I wouldn't do it.
I would. I don't really feel the need to monetize my Twitter stream just because I don't devote so much time to it that it feels like a career, that's something I have to like.
When Twitter becomes your career,
right.
there's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you want to monetize like eBay because a lot of the heavy users on eBay are spending hours and hours a day. I mean, it really is a passion project for them that are spending a lot of time on.
Not only that, it's really profitable.
Yeah, and it can be costly to produce. You got cameras and lights and all that, and audio
I
equipment.
sell all that stuff.
Nice. Well, we should talk after the show because I do a YouTube show. But yeah, like if you're posting a few things a day, you're not really devoting hours and hours to it. I really don't see that it's a deal where you need to start earning a lot of money on your Twitter.
But isn't it the same thing where let's go back 5-10 years, get rich quick on the internet, and you'd go to those pages that have the long, and that's not all. We'll make you rich and give you this other book to sell ebooks and all this garbage.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. You're not going to get rich tweeting 25 cents at a time. I'm really sorry, not going to happen.
No.
You won't have the followers to justify going up in ranking where you're going to make more money. So what I said, why don't you put in the work first? Become somebody so you can charge $10,000 a tweet like Kim Kardashian.
Because she is somebody. Really build up a worthwhile body of work like Kim Kardashian. You really want to.
Okay, we have pop culture.
Right.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I understand.
Yeah, but that's the point. At least she is somebody. She can get $10,000.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out. If I could get $10,000 a tweet, I'd really consider it.
Yeah,
I mean, you would too. Come on.
Oh, if opponent was going like, here's a briefcase full of money, let me tweet my website on your feed. I'd be like,
get white teeth. Okay, you could get white teeth.
Right,
I'll do it for 10 grand.
Yeah, it's like, let me try it. All right, my teeth feel whiter.
Okay, exactly.
Let's do this thing. Any more news? We get time for one more story.
One quick one. Okay, so
a quick one.
So Salesforce basically opened up Chatter, which is basically a add-on to their CRM, a customer relationship management tool. And it basically introduces a lot of social media S-type features, social streams for managing customers, doing stuff like that. And in the story, they talked about how a recent study by Gartner said that in 2014, 20% of businesses were going to be using these features exclusively. It's going to be replace email in many ways. Do you think that these sort of micro-messaging tools, you have Yammer, Socialcast, some of these tools are going to replace email, or do you think they'll always be complementary?
It's not going to replace email. I mean, Twitter is not really store and forward. Email is store, by that I mean, it's asynchronous. You can do long form. I don't think you can do effective customer management in 140 characters in real time.
Right.
I got to be honest, working with it, I mean, we work with big teams here. We have a lot of organized projects going on. Between email and IM, I feel pretty all right. I feel like I've got the tools that I need. I mean, if I need you immediately and we have to discuss something, I can ping you on AIM, or we use IRC here.
Yeah.
And if I have more exhaustive, detailed feedback or something, I'll write an email. I don't really need this middle ground of like a Twitter, and Yammer's a cool product, and it's something we use here every once in a while, and I've checked it out, but it's not something I always return to, like, oh, I really need to Yammer this out to a bunch of people. And IM and email pretty much get the job done, I think.
It's interesting. I was talking to an agency, and a resurgence in snail mail, that people today don't get any good mail. So if you are sending a good quality advertising message in an envelope, people will like, whoa, in all this garbage mail, look, I actually got something. And they're finding now that's doing a resurgence in effectiveness.
Because you're so used to just getting
garbage.
Yeah, just like crap and credit card off. I feel like 90% of my mail at this point is
just useless.
credit
I have
card
a trash
offers.
thing at the front door. Yeah, I throw it out immediately.
The economy's so bad.
Paper spam.
Pre-decline.
TM.
Yeah. That's to the show. I'm making some nickels here.
This is good. Yeah.
We should start monetizing this show using Adly.
See, there you go.
Just every couple minutes you'll get a little whiten your teeth today.
Yeah, you have it on the crawl.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
where the chirons go. I'm always thinking. We'll talk.
Always
after.
thinking.
We'll talk after the show.
Always
we'll figure it
thinking.
out. Well, I guess thank you to our guest Marsha Collier. Thanks to Mark Jeffrey for sitting in for Amanda Coulong, who could not make it. Thanks to Mike Bracco for the news. I'm Lon Harris. We'll see you next time on This Week in Twitter.